Hey everybody, it's Kenya, and this is the Thank You for Saying No podcast, where we find meaning in life's unexpected turns. PEEWEE, welcome to the Thank You for Saying No podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
This is so awesome. So, you guys, this is a funny story. I met PEEWEE. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
At a live DJ Soul Cycle class like 4 years ago.
That's where it was. Okay, wow, that's so funny. It's Soul Cycle. Okay.
It was so fun. She was the DJ and she absolutely killed it.
Thank you.
The energy was next level. It was so fun.
That's funny. So off camera, we were saying, like, trying to remember how we met. The suspense was good. Awesome.
I was like, I'm going to wait to the show to tell you.
Right.
This is way too good. So, after the class we connected and I've just followed your journey and you thrive.
Aww.
And I've just loved watching you just do more and more and more. And you're so real and you're so genuine. You put yourself out there. You're not afraid to acknowledge like when things are hard and also recognizing how the hard times have led you to some really great things. I see you, girl.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
No.
I'm going to cry. Really?
You can cry.
Oh my God.
We cry here sometimes.
Oh my God. You're going to make me cry. I mean
it. I've been like following you and watching you and it's inspiring. And I told you like months ago, we have to get you on the show.
Oh my God. That means so much. That's funny timing that you said that. So,
yeah. So
cool.
For those who don't know PEEWEE, she is an international leading female DJ. She started out in Florida State, right? Mm-hmm. Where you mentored with DJ Champ.
Yes.
And you're affiliated with the female DJ collective Miami Soundwave.
Was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she's performed at Coachella, at Rolling Loud, at Essence, where you were the headlining DJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And some of her clients include Pretty Little Thing, MLS, Nike, Good American, Mr. Chow, my favorite.
I love Mr. Chow so
Mr.
much.
Chow.
So good.
Ciroc, so many more. Did I leave anything out that you'd want to highlight?
No, that's pretty much it.
Amazing. Literally amazing. I'm so excited just for everything that you've accomplished like what you have to come.
Thank you.
Today, we're gonna talk about your DJ journey, some of your thank you for saying no moments, some of the challenges that you faced in the industry and how you overcame them, and just how you navigated finding the right path.
I love that. Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
Let's start. So you started making beats, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So it's funny. That was actually a no moment in my life.
Yeah.
So I started making beats at 16 because I tore my ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rewind.
Yeah.
I played basketball my whole life.
Nice.
Basketball and softball. And
I was a basketball coach, actually.
Were you?
For my brother's team, yeah.
That's fire. Okay.
Coach K.
Coach K. I love it. I got my name PEEWEE from basketball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
So, all I knew was that, like, what I wanted to be growing up was a WNBA player. And, like, there was nothing else for me, you know? And in that time, I tore my ACL and it was over for me.
Wow.
Like, I tore it my junior year, and women tearing our ACLs, it's, like, not the same as a guy.
Yeah.
So it was done.
Mm-hmm.
But in that process, I don't know. I just like randomly was on YouTube and like learned how to make beats from YouTube University. Mm-hmm. And that became like a whole thing for me. Like, wow. Cause I've always been the aux cord queen, you know, and music's always been my thing. So like going into that on the production end was just like aligned for me at that time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I started making beats, and then that wasn't going the best.
So what was that like for you? So you started making beats at 16.
Yes.
And then what sort of challenges were you facing making beats so young? Like, how was that working for you?
Man, I dealt with a lot of adversity. It was like a lot of not only like restrictive things, like with opportunities, like I would say like doors that were hard closed.
You mean because you were so young?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But the other end of it was being a woman in these studio sessions, you know, by myself.
Yeah.
And luckily I've never been like sexually assaulted or like touched or anything, but I had been disrespected by like some of the biggest celebrities. You know what I mean? Like guys that are like, if you're not here to do XYZ, get the fuck out. Where it's like, you listened to my music and loved it, and now I'm here in the session and you're like, you know what I mean? So I dealt with like a lot of the dark end of the industry.
Yeah.
And I was so directly affected, being that I was so young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had such a bad taste in my mouth about it. Going like later through the years, I was like, damn, like this dream, I want it so bad, but like I just don't see it happening anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I got into DJing.
Okay. So before we get to DJing, how did you sort of navigate those like weird moments or those tough times? Like whether it was in the moment or thinking to yourself, like I should start thinking about other stuff to do.
Yeah. The in the moment thing, I always thought of my dad. Mm-hmm. I have like the best relationship with my dad. I'm so blessed for that. And my dad, he treats me and my sisters like freaking queens. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't accept otherwise from young, you know? Especially from guys that are of status. Like that's never been something to me, you know?
Yeah.
So I luckily have held my ground. Like I've always been like, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm never gonna sell myself in that manner to get on.
Yeah.
Ever.
Wow.
That's so I think it's big. Cool that I've had that, but there's so many girls that don't. Mm-hmm. And it's no shade on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, so I also got into an organization called Girls Make Beats. Mm-hmm. And I was firm on being a part of that because of that exact reason, that there's so many girls that are in these situations that are like being abused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess to that question, like I just thought of my dad all the time. You know what I mean?
It's tough because like you should be able to go into any room and be a professional and like
100%
do professional stuff. So wow. So your first big no, like even further actually was like the basketball thing not working
basketball
out. That
for sure.
That had to be really tough as a kid too.
What?
Like 1,000%. How old were you then?
I was 16, 17.
That is tough formative years.
It was so bad. Like I was depressed.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever dealt with depression.
Were you young enough to, I mean, not young enough. Were you like mature enough at the time to figure out ways to get out of that? Or how did you?
So I don't think it was, you know, it's really common to talk about depression, anxiety.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had anxiety from young too.
Yeah.
And I never knew what it was. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I have these irrational fears and I don't know where they even come from. And then later the conversation of anxiety and depression came out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how to navigate through that.
Yeah.
I just got into music. That was just my coping.
Your like outlet.
Yeah, that was my outlet. Surprisingly, it was just random. Like,
that's awesome though.
Yeah, it was
love
cool.
That. So tearing your ACL, first big no. You sort of switched. You're like, okay, let me try making beats.
Yeah,
and then the beats was just running into issues.
Yeah,
and just situations you didn't want to be in.
Right.
So then, how did you find DJing, which is the substance of our episode today?
So, I was still making music in college, but I just stopped going to like sessions, like studio sessions.
Okay.
I was just like in my room. Yeah. That's my studio. People want to work with me. I'll send you something, but I'm not going to be like exposed to that. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of hit a standstill because at FSU, like there's not like big artists like that. Like going from Miami to Tallahassee, it was a big shift for me with
So you grew up in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in Miami, I was in the studio with everybody.
Yeah.
Young. You know what I mean? And then I go to Tallahassee where there's not really anybody there.
Yeah.
So this group called Dopey and T, who's now Rolling Loud, they were throwing hip hop shows. Like the biggest underground hip hop artists would come to like every major city in Florida, Tallahassee being one of them because that's where they were based out of. So they had Dom Kennedy, Currency, Kendrick. So the first show that I went to was Kendrick, but I snuck into the show, right?
Nice.
And I remember telling my friends, I was like, listen, we're gonna get in with the point of trying to show my music to the artist.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, that's not like the best route to go by, but
shoot for the stars.
Yeah. No, and I was like, everybody dressed hot as hell.
Yeah.
And my roommates were like, we were always like the bad bitches of like college, you know? So I was like, guys, everybody dressed hot as hell, and we're on a mission. We're gonna go backstage, but not to be groupies. We're doing this to show my music. Yeah. And they were all on board. They were so supportive. They're like, all right, we're going. So we get in for free to the Kendrick show, and I'm like backstage bragging about it. because my friend ends up like scamming our way in there, you know?
Yeah.
So we're like backstage, we meet him, we meet the management,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that we're like also in front of the guys who threw the event.
Uh-huh.
And I'm over there, we're like bragging. We're like, yeah, we snuck in here. And like, you know, I make beats. And they're like, oh, you snuck in here. We throw this event. Like,
Oh my
you know?
God.
So it just, whatever. It's funny now. But at the time, it was like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
So then they were like, hey, instead of sneaking into shows
Mm-hmm.
and using this route that can go bad,
Yeah.
why don't you become a DJ?
Mm-hmm.
So you're
already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can have the relationship with artists already.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
No. Like, I don't want to be a DJ. Like,
Yeah.
no, I want to make beats, you know? And they gave me the opportunity. They were like, listen, if you decide to do it, we're going to put you on our shows.
Mm-hmm.
You just teach yourself how to DJ.
So wait, the people at the event,
the guys
who run the event said this to you?
Yeah. They were like,
wow.
become a DJ.
Yeah.
And you'll be our DJ,
Mm-hmm.
like at the shows.
Mm-hmm.
And just teach yourself, like figure it out
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So I was like, oh shit, okay, whatever. Didn't really take it serious. And then Ultra.
Yeah.
It's funny, Ultra's right now in Miami.
Really?
Yeah. So it was this time. This makes 10 years.
Aww.
Right now. This
Full
time.
circle.
Wow. Like full circle moment.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that. So it was Ultra weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they do live streams for like festivals.
Yeah.
You can watch it.
Uh-huh.
My roommates were all watching it. And they already knew the conversation I had with the guy.
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, look how awesome it is to be a DJ. Like, take it serious.
Yeah.
You're a girl. And I was like, you know, fuck it. I'm going to learn. And then I randomly meet DJ Champ,
Mm-hmm.
who's a big mentor for me. I love him so much.
Yeah.
I meet him and he's like, you want to learn how to DJ? I'll get you in the studio. And like,
How did you meet DJ Champ?
So after, it was like the craziest thing ever. Like, Ultra Weekend is happening. I'm watching the live stream. My friends are like, dude, become a DJ.
Yeah.
Like, it's so odd. Like, look, you could be doing this, you know? I'm like, what? So
yeah.
After we go out the next day,
Mm-hmm.
it was so aligned, that whole thing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So the next day go out and I go to this lounge
Mm-hmm.
and he's there.
DJ Champ.
And he's like the big radio personality.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, oh my, it's a small town.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh my God, that's Champ.
So he's the big radio personality in Tallahassee.
He
for
was.
those who don't know.
He was. Yeah.
Okay.
So I end up just chopping it up with him. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to become a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it came about. He's like, well, if you're serious,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you in the station. He got me a little promo job at the station to like shadow him, you know? And that's how I learned the basics, like from him and YouTube. And then everything just skyrocketed in my life. Like that was not anything I was looking for, but like the doors just kept opening and opening and opening with DJing, that I was like, God, I hear you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we get into the alignment, I want to talk a little bit. But honestly, first I need to take a second to recognize how amazing that is.
Thank you.
Like,
that I was not trying to do that, right?
Yeah, like it's really about being at the right place at the right time and
Literally.
just carrying yourself in a way where people like, you know, like, making people curious.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So, okay. So when your first no with the beats
Mm-hmm.
happened and you're like, I'm going to transition into DJ. So that sort of time in your life,
Mm-hmm.
what made you know there should be a change in direction instead of just hoping that eventually it would be different? But
I don't think I knew at that time.
yeah.
Honestly, like in college, I was
Mhm.
like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I was so stubborn. I'm really stubborn.
I am too.
Okay. I'm gonna admit, I'm in counseling and in therapy. I'm really stubborn. I'm a Capricorn. But I'm really stubborn with career.
Yeah.
Like when I have like a vision
Mhm.
of something, it's so hard for me to break it. So I was fixated on PEEWEE being the producer.
Yeah.
That identity was made in my
Mhm.
brain. So there was no navigating that.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like, okay, you know what? Now that I'm presented with DJing, I'm going to just use this to still be the producer, PEEWEE.
Yeah. And then it sort of unfolded differently.
Yeah.
And sometimes if something aligns so well, so many
Yeah.
times you're like maybe I should see this through a little.
That's how it all happened, for sure.
So, you know, eventually, right, you did DJing full time and that's what you're doing now, right?
Yeah.
But I think even like if we're making the decision to do something different, like we're in control and the decider of a no or a change or a transition or a shift,
Mm-hmm.
it's still hard, you know, because like I think we have to acknowledge that letting go of an idea that we had is is like grieving.
No, it's a death.
Yeah.
It's a whole death for sure.
And it's vulnerable to put yourself out there in a certain way and like see something happening that never comes to fruition.
Yep.
And so like, can you relate to that? It sounds like you can.
Did you walk through that? not only career, like love. Like I feel like in love we do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like, this is my person and I'm obsessed with them, or like not only that, but like you start thinking so into the future, and you know,
you miss like what's happening.
Yeah. And then when things life happens, like chapters end, or you transition, you bloom, we get so attached to the idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What was your question? How do I maneuver that?
No, I was like into that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But it's true, right?
No, it's so true. I think if we're so focused on achieving something, we miss the opportunity to be adaptable and resilient to change.
Oh my God, that's so,
you know,
this is funny. I'm on this podcast. I'm telling you, because like that's been my mantra or just the theme of my life in the last year is to let the fuck go. I could curse.
Sure.
Let the fuck go of control, like surrender. Because every time I have, it's like almost like the inevitable. I think our stories are already written. A lot of people don't think that. I think it is. Yeah. And I feel like every time that I've tried to resist or try to like hold on, like what we were just speaking about with the identity of producer PEEWEE, like I just try to hold on so hard when God was like, there's something so much better, let go. Yeah. You know? And that's just, like I said, it's just been my mantra for the last year and a half, and it's been beautiful. Like I don't resist it anymore. Yeah. You know?
I do. I totally get that. So for me, after law school, I really wanted to be in Washington, D.C. Okay. And I did everything to get there. I applied to hundreds of places, but nothing was clicking. Right. Like, I didn't get any job offers out there. But despite my best efforts, like I tried so hard. And eventually I was like, okay, I need to maybe think differently.
Yeah, maybe God's are you like,
I believe in God. Yeah.
Okay. And I keep hitting this wire. Sorry. Okay. Maybe God is like telling me something. Yeah. Yeah.
So I ended up coming back to California, and I'm an environmental attorney, which is what I wanted to do.
Nice.
So it worked out, and I'm very happy where I'm at. Like it worked out really great. But in terms of like the grieving part of that, I did not unpack my bags or my boxes when I moved back to LA from Miami, probably for a year.
Wow.
Because it was hard. It's hard to accept that what you thought was going to happen isn't what's happening. Right. And even though I'm so happy where I'm at and things are really great and I love my job, I love what I'm doing, like I still had to process the redirection that happened.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so hard. Yeah. Right? Especially when it's not like in our favor, then it ends up being in our favor always, every single time. Yeah. Because I'm sure you're happy as shit now.
I'm so happy.
Like it all makes sense, right?
Yeah, it totally makes sense looking back.
I love that. I love that. Miami will always be there, by the way.
Oh yeah. I come to Miami at least once a year. I love it. I would like...
I love Miami because it's home, but it's Miami. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's a very toxic environment.
Yeah. I'm saying that with a smile, but I'm feeling you like really strongly.
It's so toxic. It's like the capital of toxicity. Yeah. I thought LA was. But Miami, boy, has it.
Yeah. Miami's a tough city. But
it's also different.
It's also a great city, though.
It's amazing. Yeah. But that's what makes it kind of toxic, right? Yeah. Think about like toxic relationship. Damn, I keep talking about relationships, but like I just feel like the correlation's there, right? Like the guy, he's this or that, like awesome for you, but he's still toxic at the core. That's Miami. Like Miami has the view, the women, the this, the that, like the facade, but at the core, it's just like a lot. Yeah. But I love Miami, don't get me wrong. It's just like I said, a lot of toxicity. Yeah. So you're good here. You're not missing out on anything.
So you talk about things aligning with being a DJ, and tell us more about that. Like what made DJing align for you in a way that producing beats was not aligning?
Thank you for asking me that, because I think like when I'm on podcasts or just any type of interviews, like they don't go into that aspect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything has just been seamless with DJing, like almost supernatural. And there's like been times where I'm like, I'm really gonna be a DJ in life? Like what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't even think of this, but the way God shows me every single day by the seamlessness of the opportunities I've been given, just like the creativity that I have with it, just I've never had anything just flow. There's just has not been that resistance like I've had again with like production. Like it was like a clear no. Like you have something better for you. So yeah, I don't know. Just
I get that though. So for me, in my life, I know when I'm in the right place because things are just clicking. Like even the hard stuff clicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'm having to force things, then I usually need to take a step back and be like, okay, what's going on? Let me reassess the landscape and see what other ways there are to get to the same thing, or just what other options there are in general.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 1,000%. But I thought to the point that I was saying that I think it's so beautiful that like you asked that is because I just turned 30 in December. Thank you. A little while now. I'm on the 3rd floor. And before I turned 30 at like 29, I started grieving like the little girl. You know, I'm a whole woman now. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not a little girl. And with all that said, that's been something for me like where I've just been thinking, where like identity wise, like where am I as a woman, and then with my career, because I want to be a wife, I want to have kids. Am I gonna DJ in the club? Like my whole like thought process of DJing started changing, and then I started hitting like the standstill with DJing. People are always like, you're always striving, but like I really feel the last year and a half I hit like a big plateau with my career, and I just been like, I've been the most spiritual I've been in my life because I've been like trusting that there's a big transition happening for me career-wise, you know? Yeah. And it is. Like I started my own party, and I know that's what God's been telling me. Like, just hang tight. I'm about to like show it to you, like what's next. Yeah. Because DJing is not, like, I think I've hit that point where I'm ready for the next step. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that goes into the alignment. I feel like this last year I've been shown that there's something more again. Yeah. You know what I mean? I do. Like I've hit everything I was supposed to. I'm ready for the next step. I just didn't know what it was, but it's definitely my events, like that's being so more awesome. On the event end. Yeah. So
I just saw you had a party. It was called Honey, right? Yeah. Nice. It looked super fun. It was at the Fontainebleau, my literal favorite place in the whole world.
I love the Fontainebleau. I love it. I love everything about the Fontainebleau. So that was a dream. That was a dream. And to alignment, right? Yeah. That party, I had 0 no's. Like there was no no's. Like the GM and I have a great relationship because he was the old GM for a club I worked at called Shush Lounge. So we always maintained it, and he was like, PEEWEE, I want you to be a part of Arcadia Pool Club, but I want you to be like more like like your own vibe. Yeah. The fact that he presented that to me, I was like, dude, let me stop being a bitch and let me like stop being a pussy, you know, and like do my own party. Like I've been scared of it for a long time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And then I called Pretty Little Thing, the rep that I work with. The conversation was 5 minutes. Like, what do you need? Yeah. You need this? Oh okay, cool. Done. We're going to do the party. That's and so then awesome. Liquor sponsors, like everything was just in alignment. Yeah. You know what I mean? So our party turned out fire. That party was amazing. And we have so much more planned.
That is so rad. Yeah. That's so stinking awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. Like when things align, you just have to explore it. You can't I think not being resistant to it. And it sounds like you've worked so hard to build this name and this brand for yourself, right, where now instead of telling you no, people are like, we want you.
Which is crazy to me because I'm not a person that asks for things. But then again, it still was in their benefit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I'm not one to utilize my network a lot. I'm a plug person. Like when people need things done, I got you. Like I'm gonna connect you with this person. Yeah. But when, like I said, when it comes to like asking to collaborate and favors and stuff, not want to do that. So it was such like a surreal thing that I could just be like, hey, I'm doing this, and people are like, let's fucking get on board. Like, we want to help you out. Yeah. You know what I mean? So your net worth is your net worth. No, your network is your net worth. Period.
Wow. That's so true. So can you think of any thank you for saying no moments in your DJ journey? I know we're talking about alignment a lot. Yeah. But were there any times where something didn't work out in the DJ space, but it led you to something great? Yeah. Or maybe in life.
Yeah. I would say I had a vision for my DJing from the beginning. I knew that I didn't want to just be this girl spinning records, looking cute. Like, that was not it for me. Like, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be better than men. Yeah. Like, I want to compete with men. I don't want to be like in the girl bracket. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And the one thing that I noticed in Miami was the guys in the clubs that were the biggest DJs were talking on the mic. They had like a mic presence. Okay. So for me, I was like, I'm going for the jugular. Like, I'm going to teach myself. I couldn't even say happy birthday on the mic when I first started DJing. Like, they would be like, you have to say this shout out. I'd be like, happy birthday. Like, wanting to die, you know? And I just like got over that fear. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go try to compete with what is known to be the best in the DJ space, right?
How did you push yourself?
Honestly, I don't know. Man, I have a very strong will. Like, my mental game is like crazy, you know? Yeah. So it's nothing for me to be like, you got this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And practice like gave me like the most confidence ever. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, like I really attacked the MC space, like being a girl that had a presence on the mic, and that made my DJ career explode. Like, for what takes most people like 3 to 5 years, took me a year, because I differentiated myself with that, right? Yeah. But to the question of what was my no, I tried to enter the big leagues, try to become a DJ in South Beach. And these big clubs were like, based off the other clubs that I was like affiliating myself with, the bigger clubs were like, nah, she's the ghetto, like cameo DJ. Like, no. Oh my God. It's funny. I can say this on air because the management knows. Yeah. But I have a residency now at Mr. Jones on Fridays.
Yeah, I know. I seen that.
And they were the first club that was like, hell no, she's not working here. Oh my God. No, really. And it's funny. And like, now it's like a joke. I was like, I was trying to work at Mr. Jones forever, but they were like, no.
That's a beauul story. Yeah. And now you're there with the residency.
Right. Because I got my experience with the mic stuff in hip hop clubs. I mean, I love hip hop in general. So like, that's like where the heart is. But that's the hardest space to DJ. I don't care what anybody says. I take it back. Caribbean parties are the hardest. But you have to talk on the mic on those too, right? But hip hop clubs are very hard to DJ.
Why? Why is that?
Because I think like the culture in itself is different. You know what I mean? Like, hip hop, you gotta DJ really fast. There's like so many elements to hip hop. Yeah. I think open format clubs, there's not really the emphasis of a person on the mic other than them doing like the 1, 2, 3, let's go. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, there's not really like a person taking you on a journey. Yeah. Like hip hop.
I see. I totally get what
you have to be strong with mixing, being fast, and speaking. Yeah. So I was thrown in the wolves, which I'm grateful, because that, like I said, like it like took me to the next level, right? Yeah. But that was a no, like I said, because the clubs that I was affiliated with, the bigger Live, Story, Mr. Jones, they were like, fuck no, she's not working here. And then now look.
And now you're there. So how did you deal with that, like, sort of frustration or those no's? Like, what did you do?
I took it to heart, like really bad, because only you know how hard you go, right? Like, people may see on Instagram what they see, right? Like the what you see what I show you, but people aren't seeing the nights I'm in front of my computer for hours, getting music and practicing. Like I used to have turntables in my house, and I'll be there like a crackhead, like till 2 a.m. like my hands are like doing it on its own, you know, autopilot. Like there's so much. And then aside from, you know, the technical end of DJing, trying to perfect that, because I always had the chip on my shoulder that I'm a woman and I have to like not be considered a woman, or not to say that, to not be looked at as a gimmick. I didn't want that. I wanted people to be like, this fucking girl could DJ. You know what I mean? Yeah. And aside from that, then there's the image part that I had to put all that work in, right? So I'm grinding. My life has become this of trying to be the best, and then to have people that are like, they don't believe in the vision. It was a jab to the ego, but I loved it because it made me go hard. Like every time in my life, I've had some type of rejection. That's like the ultimate motivator for me. That puts a battery in my back. Like every time people do me dirty, every time I get a no, like, and it's like, God knows what he's doing, because it puts a battery in my back where I just go harder and then it happens, you know?
That's amazing. Yeah. Do you find yourself like trying different things or figuring out different ways to turn those no's into yeses? I mean, obviously you got them into yeses, like, right? But like in those moments, are you thinking like, what should I do different, or how, like?
Yeah, it's humbling. Yeah. I think you need those, like those moments, because I would have just been doing the same shit, been working at the same clubs. I wouldn't have had the thoughts of like, I should probably start transitioning. Yeah. Like I need to rebrand myself, because for one, I am more than just a genre DJ. I DJ everything except country music, disclaimer. But like I put me in a space, I kill it, you know? And that's why like in an international space, I do well, because I know how to do all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, if I didn't have that moment, I wouldn't have thought that like, I'm more than just hip hop. Yeah. I need a transition. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no's are always fire.
Oh yeah. We love no's here. Did you have any practices, like when you're going through hard times, like personal practices or things you do to deal with the emotions?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm big into meditation, journaling. Yeah. Like I've been saying, I'm like super spiritual now. Like,
what's your meditation practice like?
So I was doing for a long time like guided meditations, but I feel like I was always wondering, I'm like, wow, I feel like it's peaceful, but I'm not getting that experience what people are saying, like the shutting your brain off type of vibe, or not shutting your brain off, but like allowing the thoughts to like flow. Until I started just having like meditation music and being in nature, and then like, you know, sitting and learning that, you know.
I meditate too. And my thing is like birds chirping. Like that's where I find like my peacest.
Mine is the ocean. I love like ocean sounds. And I live on the water, so it's beautiful. So like nice. I'll go on my balcony. That's like my meditation spot, on my balcony, and I play on my headphones like what is to be like ocean sounds. And in my head, it sounds so crazy.
No, I love it.
But where I take myself, someone told me, when you meditate, go to like the same place every time. Like imagine climbing a mountain or doing something, and like that just helps you go to like your space. So my thing is, I jump in my water in my head.
Oh, nice.
Right? I jump in my water and I dive in, and when I come back up, I'm in like what is it? Not Fiji, in Bali, like where the mountains are and all that. So I've never been there in my life, but that's where I picture it. Yeah. And then I somehow go into like the Zen.
That's,
you know,
so awesome.
It's crazy, but that's been my thing: meditation and routine. Routine. I stress this so much. I think when I'm the most confused in life, or like in those moments where I'm like, where am I doing? I think sticking to your routine is so important. Yeah. So my morning routine is solid. It's I get up, I make my bed. I don't care how tired, if I'm running late, like nothing. I make my bed. It's just a thing for me. And it's been life-changing. That little thing.
To yourself.
Yep. I make my bed. I pray, journal, meditate.
Nice.
So I haven't been on it as much lately, but like that's been a thing of mine. Like I've been feeling so not aligned in a space because I haven't been sticking to my routine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
When things are so crazy, like you have to find your own stability.
And I think the premise of it is you're giving yourself that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Waking up and looking at your phone is so subconsciously terrible for your soul.
Oh my God, yes.
For your soul.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like looking at whatever it is online, like it's just a lot.
Yeah.
So again, like I think my way of aligning, centering myself, becoming like strong-willed, especially in those moments, is by sticking to my routine and being vulnerable with like the journaling and all of that, that comes with it.
Being real with yourself and like giving yourself the space to figure things out.
100%.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Where do you find your inspiration to move through hard parts or no parts?
I think, like my mom is such a resilient person. My family, I come from a family of women.
Yeah.
And everyone has like this crazy resilience in my family.
That's beautiful.
And I think like them, like I think about my mom a lot. It's funny. Like I never really thought about that till you said it. Like right when you said it, I thought about my mom and I was like, damn, I think about her like subconsciously a lot.
Yeah.
Because she's so damn resilient, you know? And I think of her and I know that like she got through shit. And then like I think about then like all the things that I've been through that I thought was like the end of the world. And then I'm like, I'm more than good now, you know? So that's like my inspiration. It's like my mom and then my own past.
Yeah. Like looking at how far you've come and what you've accomplished.
And I've been fine.
Yeah.
And I've been fine. Like you don't die. You know what I mean? What, like God willing.
You do, yeah.
You know, that's your time. But when we go through shit, like it's like life isn't linear. And when you understand that, you have like this backseat approach to life. It's like, okay, I'm understanding that the storm is either realignment or a lesson that I'm supposed to learn. You know what I mean?
You're so good for this podcast because our slogan is finding meaning in unexpected turns. And
really?
That's just what you're describing right now.
That's it. That's it. And I'm telling you, this comes from a place of being the biggest control freak. I don't know anybody that's been more of like a person that wants to control like the outcome more than me. And for me to drop that, it's like a miracle, you know? Like I said, it's been my mantra for the last year and I have been significantly happier.
Yeah.
Just letting it flow.
Wow, I'm like really taking that in because in my own life, just reflecting the times where I've let go of my control are the times that I've been the happiest. But the actual relinquishing of the control is very painful. Yeah. But once you're in the place of not trying to control, it's very peaceful.
It's so peaceful. It's like a hard thing to like grasp.
Yeah.
But when you experience it, when you like endure that, when things happen in life, like you're just like, okay, let me just be still. Because the more I'm trying to like be in like this anxious, like no space.
Yeah.
It does nothing but fuck with your peace of mind, you know? So why not just go through the inevitable in peace?
Yeah.
You know?
Right? Because if you're trying to control, there's control in letting go. Yes. And there's control in holding on. So wouldn't you rather be happy and let it go than unhappy and angsty and holding on? It's like, but it's hard. But that's the hard part is like, because it's more comfortable sometimes to hold on.
Yes.
Even though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, it is because it's like depending on the situation, but like what you're bonded to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
It runs deep.
Yeah. And what you're bonded to could be something from your childhood that like then becomes comfortable later in life. Relationships. I keep bringing that up, but you know, I think relationships are like some of the biggest lessons or teachers of our life.
Have you had any thank you for saying no moments in relationships?
So many.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. All the ones that didn't work.
Every single. But I you know, I don't like saying relationships that didn't work because they did.
Yeah.
Because they did work. They worked until the time was up.
Yeah.
When I started understanding that too, I looked at relationships so different because I was always like, I don't want to get in situations because I'm going to get hurt if it doesn't work out. But like it does. Like we're supposed to experience people either in seasons or forever.
Yeah.
And love, like I said, love is our biggest teacher for some people. Like for me, I know it is, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, I've heard like if you want to learn about yourself, get into a relationship.
1000%. Because what triggers you more than love?
Than a significant other.
Nobody. No, and you see who you really are. You're right.
Yeah.
You see who you really are. Like when you're, I don't know if I've ever been more upset than I have. Yeah. Like in a relationship, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I've definitely, all of them have been a no in some form. Mm-hmm. So I was actually a no for somebody. Mm-hmm. And I knew that my, like, knowing that I was done with that person and it was amicable. Mm-hmm. We're still friends till this day. But, like, I knew that I no longer was supposed to be in his life because I was his comfort zone and he was never going to grow. Mm-hmm. And, like, he had to be uncomfortable from me and him breaking up for him to grow. And his life after we broke up, like, I'm so happy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, it was hard as fuck for him. Like, he was going through it so bad. Mm-hmm. But, like, now he has a huge house. Now, like, everything in his life worked out, you know?
You're like, now he's having his own thank you for saying no.
Yes, thank you for saying no. 100%. I know. Like, that's why we can be friends to this day, you know? Like,
yeah.
But, and it's difficult to see it on your end, right? When you're hurting somebody and, like, you know that they have to go through that to be better.
Yeah.
You know? But I was definitely a no in his life. But the other ones have been no's for me, and there's not one person that I'm like, I don't want to think and be like, dude, like you were what is an asshole or this and that, but you were supposed to be to me, because that I was supposed to learn that lesson, and I'm so happy, you know, like I don't look at it with a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. You're just saying so many really beautiful things today.
Thank you. I'm a glass half full person.
Aww.
I'm a glass half full person.
I love that.
With everything.
That's really good.
I
so think everything you're saying, it's like triggering all these thoughts. I'm like, which one should I say? You know, after each relationship that we have, but even a friendship sometimes too, you know, like, but being able to reflect and see all of the things that worked and that didn't work too, so you don't bring like the same stuff into your subsequent relationships.
1000%. Yeah. And I think one thing that I think women do, we're like victim of, is when we end even like friendship breakups, right? Like we're quick to be like, they did me dirty and like this and that, but it takes two. And it's so difficult to be like, where was my fault in this? Even if it was minuscule.
Even if the fault was sticking around too long.
That's what I was just going to say, right? Okay. Even if the fault was my participation in allowing the bullshit, right? Like, where did that happen? And where do I grow from that to not, I think like not make the same mistake twice is just like hard to say, but like, how do I try to avoid it?
Yeah. And be better. You're the only one who's going to look out for you. It's no one else's job to.
That's it. Yeah. Period. So I don't know. I've had some friendship heartbreaks.
Same.
Those hurt kind of worse.
They do.
There's one in my life. Like a friendship breakup that I had. Like, still fucks with me to this day. I'm not like over it.
Yeah.
Still heartbroken.
It's sad.
It is. Damn, I miss that bitch. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm still not over it, but whatever. Life goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, let's see. So you're very ambitious. You're very driven. You're successful.
Thank you.
Right? And motivated. Has that affected any of your personal relationships?
Big time.
How?
Big time. Damn, this is a conversation. Damn. I'll say this. I think a lot of men in theory want a woman who's hardworking, ambitious, has her own until they have it. Until they have it. A lot of guys in theory want that until it's time for them to get up and fucking work, and they can't be there all the time. Especially me being a DJ, like the housewife role is a little difficult for me. I mean, not anymore. Like I've kind of like grown into like the little wifey, but at first it was difficult, right?
Yeah.
So to answer that question, I've had a relationship that I think that person like I said, in theory, wanted someone that was ambitious, but wanted somebody on their time that was fully accessible. And that's where the disconnect happens, because it's like, I also have my dream, right? Yeah. And we have to walk parallel to each other, not like perpendicular. Yeah. And that wasn't happening, right? So I read this quote. I don't know if you know Yes Jules. So Yes Jules, she's an influencer in Miami. That's my girl. And she posted this this Instagram story that said, an ambitious woman either has a supportive partner or no partner at all.
I've seen you post that. Yeah.
And that is the truest statement ever. Yeah. Like, because if you don't have somebody riding for you, just as women we're supposed to ride for them, like, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, to answer that question, I've definitely had that. Yeah. And I learned a lot from that. I that's a hard no for me. Yeah. To have someone that's basically a hater. Who
doesn't respect that you have a passion and a journey.
Yeah. And doesn't see it. And goals. And doesn't see it. And doesn't respect it. That is the most toxic, not even toxic. There's nothing that will diminish your dreams more than tend to sleep with a hater. Yes. And a hater meaning someone that does not see the same vision as you. If your person isn't like, my girl as ambitious, because she wants to mow the lawn, like she wants to be the best lawnmower of life. If your man isn't there like, my girl's the best lawnmower, and like I see her growing to be like the best in the world and renowned, you know, lawnmower. Yeah. Like if he's not on board with you on that, it's not gonna work. Yeah. If you're ambitious, if you're a person, if you're a woman with dreams, you know, like it just doesn't work. Just be by yourself. Yeah.
Or find someone who supports your lawn mowing dreams. Yes. Right?
Yes. That's what I meant. Yeah. Like either or. Yeah. Just be by your fucking self, because it's not going to work. Get rich and then like have a bunch of cats or something, because it's hard out here. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. I'm not a relationship guru by any means, so I'm not going to chime in on this particular part. Okay. but I will say, you know, from the beginning, before we were on camera. Right. But I will say that relationships, friendships, with family, in your profession, like all of that, as a professional woman myself, right? I'm an attorney by day. Like never dim your light, ever. Don't shine less bright. Don't go after what you want to make someone more comfortable. Yep. Don't like not try and accomplish your goals because you don't want to make someone feel bad that they're not where you're at.
I literally did that.
Literally, don't do that.
Don't do it, guys. Like, I did it. I think every girl that's chasing her dreams that also wants love is gonna go through it one time. Yeah. And then your light shines so much harder when you get out of it.
Yes. And you're like unwilling to dim it ever
again. There's no conversation. Like it will never happen. And it's not even because I want to be this independent woman or I want to like it really stems from the fact that I have a passion for something and it makes me happy. Yeah. Again, if I want to mow lawns, like, if that makes me happy as in love, you should want that for your partner, period. If someone does not want that, it's going to dim your light. You're going to, everything around you is not going to align and it's going to suck. Yeah. Because I've done it. Yes. And don't do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So, what is something that you didn't expect about being a DJ that's happened?
I didn't expect all this shit to happen like seamless. Yeah. I know I say that like over and over again, but I didn't expect everything to just happen as fast. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's pretty. It's awesome.
I love hearing that. I love hearing like, I think it's a really strong message for people to be aware of, like for the listeners to be aware of when things are aligning and to not ignore that.
Don't ignore it. Yeah. And you know, I just last year started seeing angel numbers. I've never in my life. People would always tell me, "Oh, I see 111." I never, ever saw them. And it was a year ago now. Right before a big transition in my life happened. I'm talking about huge, life-changing transition. I kept seeing all the angel numbers, but 555 in specific. And 555 means abrupt change, but like good change, like something is supposed to dismantle for you to become powerful, basically. And when I tell you, that is exactly what happened.
Wow.
And I was trying to like resist it. I was like, why is like...
Is the transition what you were telling us at the beginning or earlier?
Yeah.
Into the event.
Yeah.
In your party.
Yeah. So like right before all of that happened, I was seeing it like in my face all the time.
Wow.
Like it was everything.
Yeah.
It was like to the point where it was like obnoxious of the angel numbers I was seeing. And I was so like, funny. Damn, like I've never had the universe or like something like that talk to me so loud, but it was telling me like something really massively big is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. I would go through it again. It's painful as it was at first while I was enduring it. Like it was so like the other end of it, I was like, dude, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna stay in the same place if you didn't just throw Hiroshima at me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be better, I just went through that. And yeah, so I was saying like I saw signs. So I think
like
if
literal
people,
signs.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Right. And I think we don't pay attention. So like if you're seeing things, like pay attention and don't resist.
Yeah.
Surrender.
Yeah. Surrender. I think too, like signs could be literal signs, like numbers or like messages. I've heard all sorts of stuff. And I think that's very real and happens to people. But also signs could be just like getting an opportunity that
out of nowhere.
Right out of nowhere, or being in the right room at the right place, or like hearing someone talk about something and then looking into it and it aligning with like what you got going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it could be anything.
Okay. So I don't mean to sound preachy.
No, please be it.
But my Pastor Terrence at We Cool Church, he says, God works in coincidences. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's God's work. Is when we see things and we're like, oh, you text me, I was just thinking of you, like that, you know what? Or like just anything that can be considered coincidence or the angel number, just all of that is, I think, the way, because we can't like hear him, you know what I mean? I mean, we hear him in certain ways, but the way he speaks is through that. So
so when I'm on the right path, I feel like I always see my birthday time on my phone, which is
really?
10/26, October 26th.
But that's a sign of something. I
think it is.
No, it is. It is like 1,000%. 1,000%. Like, okay, next time you see it.
Yeah. I see it twice a day, every day.
Next time you see it. So I don't know if you saw it twice today already.
Well, not yet, because tonight is later.
Okay. All right. So tonight when you see it again, right? Yeah. Think about what you're thinking, or like be cognizant of what you're thinking about. Like whatever it is that's on your mind or something. And then be like, that's why I saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's been times where I've been like, damn, I'm like confused about like which way to go. And then I'll see an angel number and I'm like,
Oh, that's so interesting.
So I had my boobs done.
Congrats.
Thanks.
They look great.
Thanks. I love them. I got them done a year. The 31st makes a year. So when I got them done, like the morning of the surgery, I was scared shitless. Like I started having a panic attack the morning of, and I'm like freaking out. And I look at I look at my phone, I go like that, and it's 444. And I went to my grandfather's grave like earlier, or the day before. Yeah. And 444 is protection. It's like a loved one telling you you're okay. And I was like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's gonna protect you through this surgery.
Yeah. So I say that to say like just like know your thoughts or like your environment, like what's happening. So when you see the sign, you're like, oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just think that story's great because your grandpa was protecting you when you got your Is that great?
I'm Colombian. Yeah. That is like a very Colombian thing to say.
Oh my God, I'm cracking up. But that was, I get the point, and I think that's beautiful. Okay. Quick pivot here. Okay. What challenges... It's like
we got secondhand over here.
We got a little. So what challenges
okay
are you faced with as a woman in a male dominated industry?
I would say the only thing is like it hasn't happened too much. Like with DJing, it hasn't happened. With the production, it has being sexualized. But honestly, as a DJ, the best thing to be is a girl. For real. That's why guys hate us.
Really?
I don't have issues with anybody, but like the haters are always guys. It's never girls. I have the best relationship with every girl. Like if I meet you as a girl DJ anywhere in the world, we become like homies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I've made such amazing friends in the DJ space that are women. But I say all that to say, like, a woman is just, we have a different energy to us. So like music wise, you hear it, and then you see us, we look better, you know. So like there's more opportunity for women, surprisingly.
Interesting.
Like people are preferring having a girl DJ.
Yeah.
So I don't know, DJing's awesome as a girl. I don't deal with like too much adversity.
Yeah.
But there's just like I said, the normal like getting sexualized from time to time, but that doesn't happen too much. I think let this be a message for most like girls trying to be in the space, like how you present your what is it, not portrait, but like your template, like how you present it. You gotta know like what comes with it, you know. So because I hear a lot of girls complain like, oh my god, like the owners want to fuck me or whatever, and I don't deal with that because I don't project that, and I have like a very, when it comes to work, there's none of that bullshit with me.
It's like how you carry yourself.
Yes, 1000%. But like if you're on Instagram, and I respect it, everybody's niche is different, right? If you're gonna be on IG showing your ass and like you have an OnlyFans and all that, like maximize on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like know that like your money makers in that space, and maximize on being that sexual being, but just don't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't really deal with that because I'm not like too
but it sounds like you don't deal with that because of how you carry yourself.
Big time. And I used to be really naive though. Yeah. I used to be like very passive, and now there's like no room for it. But it's an energy thing. Yeah. It's an energy thing. Yeah. Like I don't have to walk in a space and demand or like yell, respect me. Like I demand it based off how I come in a room. And I don't have to look like a bitch. You know what I mean? Energy is everything. Yeah. So
I'll say I'm also in a male-dominated profession. I think the DJing space is still male-dominated.
It is. That's why it's better to be a girl.
Okay, I get what you're saying. And for me, like, I've always been worried about being underpaid. And so for me, figuring out how to negotiate salary and, like, be what you're saying, like, how you carry yourself. Being ready to recognize your value right away and present yourself like that. Right.
Damn, sure girl DJs make more than guys. I think that's the only space.
That's amazing.
Really, I think that's the only space. Like 9 times out of 10, a girl DJ is making way more than the guy DJs. Wow. So when you're saying that, I'm like, damn, girls really do go through it like, in spaces. Like,
but I think the same, like, even though it's a little different, it's sounding like that same, like, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. Yeah. Like, being confident, being bold. Those things are like important.
Yeah. And I think, you know what I say to like a lot of like my little mentees, be a master at what you do. Like become a master at this. Yeah. Right. So that there's no room for that someone to be like, she's just a ditzy girl or she's not it. Like we're in the same plane. The only difference is our private parts. Yeah. And my fake boobs. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know we said that. But you get what I'm saying. You know? Yes. So the only difference is that. But when it comes to like our jobs, I'm just as efficient, if not more. Yeah. Because I've mastered that. Yeah. Not to say that you're not or knock you. No. That's what I just tell my little young ones.
Yeah, no, I love that. So based on your knowledge and experience in the industry, how do you give back? Like you're talking about mentor or mentees. How do you give back? Is it important for you to give back?
1000%. Yeah. I'm really into like charity work stuff, but I don't ever post it because I feel like it's corny. Yeah. You know?
I do get what you're saying.
Like, so this past Christmas, I gave 3 families $1,000, and you know, like I do stuff like that all the time. Yeah. So where I live too in Miami, I live like on the water, but a block up, it's Little Haiti, and I'll just like once every 3 months, like if at a gig I get like a bunch of food, or if I'm bored, I'm like, you know what, let me just make a bunch of food and like go give to the homeless. Like that's big for me. And it's not a thing of I'm doing this so I could get into the gates of heaven. No, it's like because I really want to, you know. So there's that part, and then like having like young girls. I wish so bad I had someone. I mean, it wasn't a thing like girls in the industry, like in this space. Yeah, like in the DJ producer space. I didn't have that until later. And that's just like something that means so much to me, because I never want anybody to like be in those situations that I was in. Like God knew to put me in them because he knew I would maneuver well. But I know a lot of girls won't.
Yeah.
And I just like want to have girls in just better predicaments, you know, because the music industry is shiesty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. Giving back is everything.
That's so important. So many people, so many women, in particular, men and women, but especially women, have helped me get to where I'm at.
I love that.
So many people.
Yeah.
And I always try and pay it forward. I always like participate in mentorship programs or take a cold call or a cold email or just anyone who reaches out, because so many people did that for me. And I'm so blessed that we live in a day, at least in my profession, where there are women in the space. Right. And we can create and guide the path.
Yeah, 1,000%. Each one teach one. Ooh. You know, like literally, each one teach one. That's why we have pastors and stuff, because, you know, they're showing us the way. Like, you know? Yeah. So the act of wisdom, we carry it on.
So this is a good place, I think, to conclude here. You know, your story is such a good model. You and your story are such a good model of just really not dimming your light. Like, don't do it. You shine so bright.
Thank you.
And you're so down to earth and genuine.
Thank you.
It's been really fun talking to you today. You thrive and you're hitting milestones, and you adapt and you're resilient. And I think those are like simple words with so much meaning behind them. Aww. And I think
thank you.
I think they're really important qualities. And I really, really admire how you take no's or situations not working out, and you figure out how to learn from them
1,000%.
And pivot from them and how to make them something great. I think like this is a really inspiring and empowering story.
Thank you.
Today. But before we end, for the listeners, where can they find you? What do you got going on?
Yeah. On Instagram, that's what I use the most, and Twitter. PEEXWEEZY, PXWeezy. I have my website, pxweezy.com. I have a honey party that I'm gonna take all over the world.
Oh, nice.
I promise you.
Will you be in LA?
Yes. I'm 100% going to do a honey party in LA.
Okay.
1,000%.
Nice.
I started this party just because, again, like I got the opportunity to do my own thing. And that's just where my career was going into. It's being my own boss with the DJ space, you know, because even though I'm my own boss now, like I'm still at the mercy of venues, right? Where like now it's like my thing. So I'm doing this honey party, a party catered to all the honeys all around the world. And it's a daytime event, not just pool party, just I want it to be a daytime because I like going to sleep early.
Yeah.
And daytime vibes are awesome.
I love a day party.
Right? Everyone likes day parties. So I'm going to do the most epic party ever coming to a city near you. So pay attention. Follow the honey party. Follow the honey party at the honey party on TikTok and Instagram.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It means so much.
You guys, really quickly before we end, I just have to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify, follow, give a review, let us know what you think. And I just have to say, like, thank you to everybody for all this support. It has literally been incredible.
I love that.
So many people have reached out saying they identify, they relate. Like, it's just been so well received. It doesn't go unnoticed. Like, Aww. Thank you so much, you guys. So that's it.
Love it. Beautiful.
Follow and subscribe to the Thank You for Saying No podcast, and you'll get every episode as soon as it's released.